Hello everyone, we are live inside Kumasi Technical University and then purposely for the Ghana National Union of Technical Students 27th Annual Congress. This program is going to take about 4 days and then today marks the beginning of the program. As you can see people around, we are all ready for the launch of the program. Tomorrow we are going to have a summit and an awards night, whereas Friday we have an elections. Today joining us as a special guest of honor, we have the ex-president for Ghana, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Don't go away, stay with us as we bring you live updates from Kumasi Technical University. It is still Ghana National Union of Technical Students 27th Annual Congress. Don't go away.
We are still here in Kumasi Technical University for the Ghana National Union of Technical Students, and we're here with the national organizer, the National Youth Organizer for NDC, Mr. George Opari-Addo. You're welcome.
Thank you, my sister.
Okay, so as NDC National Youth Organizer, what are your plans for the youth in Ghana?
As a National Youth Organizer, the first thing we need to do is to help the NDC's youth mobilize ourselves and help win power for His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. It is only when power is won that our objective and then the plans and visions we have will be realized. We have what we call the Youth Manifesto. The Youth Manifesto is a comprehensive program of how we intend to restore hope to the many disgruntled young people who are out there. And what the Youth Manifesto seeks to do is to create and find sustainable jobs for young people in this country, and also look at education comprehensively, technical education, vocational education, and then formal university education. Today the debate has been about free SHS, but I can assure you that in 2020 the debate will not be about free SHS. It will be about the many numbers who would have left free SHS. How do we intend to accommodate them, and how do we intend to mold them to become responsible citizens? Does education just end at the secondary school level? I am of the opinion no. So what the NDC is going to come out with, and what we are coming out with, is what we call the Youth Manifesto, where students who will leave secondary school, who don't have access to funding, can find funding and go through tertiary education. And also people who have already left school, how we can create a lot of entrepreneurs, how we can create sustainable jobs, how we can feed the growing population of this country through agriculture and then sports development. So in a nutshell, these are some of the things the NDC's youth wing is working on. But the first thing is to galvanize their supports and win power and send His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama to the Flagstaff House.
So I can see you are going to continue with some of the vision of the NPP. As she's talking about the free SHS, you see they are doing it, but then...
Let me say something and let every Ghanaian understand. Free SHS is not a policy of the NPP. Article 25 of the National Constitution states clearly that we shall have progressively free senior high school. We started with FQ, and then in 2015-2016 academic year, His Excellency President Mahama introduced free senior high school for day students at the secondary level. So it is not a policy of the NPP. They are rather continuing from where we left off. So it becomes disingenuous for anybody to ascribe free SHS to himself. What they have done is they are doing it on a large scale base, but free SHS is not a policy of the NPP. The NDC, as the party I belong to, President Mahama believes in education. He's spoken on many platforms about increasing access to education. Free SHS will continue unabated. What the NDC is saying is we'll make free SHS better. We will abolish the shift system that has been introduced at the secondary school level. We abolish the shift system at the basic level when we are in power, and we intend to abolish it again when, God willing, He will form the next government in 2021.
Okay, so what are some of the things you are doing in place? As it is now, you are not in power, and next year is going to be the election. What are some of the things you are doing to, win the election?
One of the things I'm doing is engaging people like you and speaking on platforms like this. We can only do advocacy at this stage. We can engage and sell hope to the many people out there, and that is exactly what we are doing. We intend to restore hope and make Ghana a better place for the many young people who are who are out there and have lost hope and confidence in this wobbling administration.
So this is the Gnuts, Ghana National Union of Technical Universities. When you come into power, what are some of the things you're going to do through this union?
If you recall, it was under the able leadership of His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama that you became a technical university. And at the time we were leaving, we had given accreditations to 8 institutions. We were left with 2. We were left with Bolga and then WA. And it was our belief that 2 years, 6 months down the lane, they should have been part of the technical universities, but they have not been part. Our assurances are that when we win power, we will convert those 2 to become technical universities. And also we will work closely with the organization. Today, for instance, our flag bearer is honoring your invitation for your delegates conference at your lunch. That should tell you how serious we take issues of Gnuts, and we are very much interested in your issues, and we'll do everything possible to make your schools what we all ascribe them to be.
Okay, thank you very much, and we really appreciate you. I want you to say something to anyone listening to you right now.
It is to the young people out there. Where our country is heading, we are heading towards a ditch. President Akufo-Addo has run this administration down. Corruption has become the bedrock of this administration. There is no hope. There is total despair amongst young people. The NDC represents hope. The youth wing I lead intends to restore hope to the thousands out there who don't know where hope is going to come from. We are committed for building for all of us a better Ghana, a Ghana where opportunities will avail itself to everyone, irrespective of color, creed, or political organization you belong to. Let the young people in this country arise. Let's rise up and restore the Ghana that we'll all be proud of again. Thank you.
Thank you very much. As you all hear, let's rise up and restore the power. Okay, so this is Mr. George Opare-Addo, popularly known as Pablo.
That's what they call me.
Okay, thank you very much for your time. I hope you enjoyed today.
Thank you too.
Okay, we are here with the Ashanti Regional Secretary for NDC, Kwamizu. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Okay, my name is Delali and this is KAMPUSSTYLE. What are some of your plans for Ashanti region as NDC is concerned?
Oh, it's a huge region, and the kinds of people who are here are varied. It's a cosmopolitan region, meaning lots of settlers and people with varied backgrounds are all in the region. It is our intention to harness their diversity in a positive way so that eventually we can live harmoniously, and more importantly to drive development. So we have been on course.
So this is Ghana National Union of Technical Students, the Gnuts. What are some of the plans you have for this union? As far as Kumasi is concerned, with Kumasi Technical University, what do you have for us?
Coincidentally, I'm a lecturer here, so I understand the needs of students better. More importantly, those of students of technical universities. And if you are aware, the elevation of the polytechnics to technical universities were done by my party's government, and that makes it literally easier for us to reconcile that with aspirations of the students. All they want to see is a sense of pride that they can compete favorably with their colleagues from the senior public universities, and I think that we will be able to do if only we understand the need of the student. They are not asking for much. All they seek to have is some level of parity that will reinvigorate their energies, that they realize my counterpart from the senior traditional universities are no different from who we are, and therefore it becomes easier for them to relate and work in the same work environment without any hesitation or fear or any form of inferiority complex whatsoever. And I think if you study carefully what we have done from 2014, from the commencement of the processes for the transition, all we have sought to do is to leverage the strengths of their technical staff, that is the lecturers and the rest. Most of them anyway teach in the private universities, so there was no need hesitating in placing them at par with their colleagues in the traditional universities. That we have done, and naturally the students will also come along.
Okay, so next year being the election, what are some of the things you are doing in place to make sure you win?
Forgive me, here I'll be greedy. The onus lies largely on students of technical universities. They are in a better position to compare. I am not being political. This is not a political platform, but the realities must be told the way they are. The onus lies on them to compare the gains we have made, the advances we have made during our era, and the hesitance of the present administration to to pay heed or to appreciate the nature of troubles that bedevil with them. And in so doing, they will come out boldly and bravely to speak for the Esquire government. It is only in so doing that the entire nation will see wisdom in bringing back the old, which is not wrong. For those of us who live in Ashanti region, Sankofa.
Thank you very much.
I just go with me here, the coordinating secretary for Gnuts. How are you doing, madam?
I'm fine.
All right. So far, so good. We've seen that preparations are far advanced for the annual congress. Okay. So, what are some of the activities that this congress is going to carry?
Thank you very much. First of all, we will have the official lunch, which is today, and after official lunch, we will have meetings in the evening, and then tomorrow we are going to have summits in the morning, and the evening we are going to have an awards night. Then the next day, that will be Friday, we will have meetings, congress sittings, and afterwards we will dissolve CC, then EC will take over to elect new executive for the union.
Okay. So the entire activity ends on Friday?
It ends on Saturday because Saturday is departure.
Okay. Okay. And then what is the theme for this year's celebration?
Yeah, thank you very much. The theme is prioritization of technical and vocational education, a vehicle to accelerate industrialization.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so accelerating industrialization and then technical and vocational institute. But for some time, we have realized that we only deal with technical universities and then the polytechnics. What happens to the vocational institute? What happens to the technical secondary schools?
Yeah, thank you very much. This is a very good question. For the technical and vocational institute, for now, when we've tried, the union has tried, now part of the union, but directly to be members, as we have 10 members of the union. Legally, we've been still trying to get that accreditation. So what we're now doing is involving them in our activities, and we've been doing that. We do the visit. Tomorrow program, they will be part of it.
Okay.
Yes, which has to do with developing the youth for tomorrow. They will be part of it. We've given some of the institutions letters, but we are still in talk with the principals to get them on board. But they are concerned with the academic activities and the tertiary activities. So that is now the barrier. That is now the problem. But we are still working towards, and I know we'll get there.
All right. Yeah. All right. So far, so good. We realize that there are so many NDC cars around and NDC representatives around. Is it because Gnuts is affiliated to the NDC, or it is otherwise?
No, never. Gnuts is a non-partisan union, and it is not because Gnuts is affiliated to a party that is why you see a party color. I think I saw a car that passed by, and we've invited a state person who is the former president. We've invited the former president of Ghana, not political party that we've invited. So we've already informed them that it is the former president we are inviting as our former president, a state person, but not the party.
Okay.
Yeah. So we are not giving anybody the platform to do politics.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your time, and we wish you the very best.
Chairman of the NDC, in a person, Chairman Nana Kwesi. Followed by our old friend, brother, and a lecturer of this great institution, who is the secretary of the NDC in the Ashanti region, and is in the person of Kwame Su. Last week I was fortunate to meet the president. We met at Stepa, and it was a funeral ground. President was in black, I was in red. The NDC, everywhere you hear the voice, yes, this is the gentleman that is talking. Some call him Baba Bulu Bulu. If Nigerian man says so, Ghana here we call it Sapura man. He's a handsome guy. He speaks very well whenever he should have been parliament. He is a member of parliament representing the people of North Congo. And he's not any other person than Honorable Samuel Okujato Ablakwa. Yes. Former Deputy Minister of Education. Yes.
Good afternoon and a very warm welcome to the launching of the 27th Annual Delegates Congress here in Kumasi Technical University. I am Kansu Emmanuel, the outgoing president of this very university. Sorry, let me take it again. I am Kansu, the outgoing president of this very university. This year's event is a milestone in the history of Gnuts. And as well as you all can see, it happens to coincide with some phenomenal developmental projects that is ongoing on campus here. Let me use this opportunity to commend the hard work and the efforts of the interim Vice Chancellor in the presence of Professor Engineer Mike Agweshi Echampong and all management of this university for the good work that they are doing. By convention and protocol, kindly permit me to also welcome all the various dignitaries that have been mentioned. Time will not permit me to go through the names one after the other. But then, to His Excellency the former President of the Republic of Ghana, you are very much welcome. The interim Vice Chancellor, who also doubles as the chairman of this event, you also welcome once again. The former Deputy Minister of Education, the former Minister of Education, all current and former members of Parliament present, the chairman of the National Democratic Congress and all regional executives of the NDC, all personalities on the high table, and all other dignitaries and protocols duly observed, we welcome you all. To the Gnuts national executives and all related committees present, all students of the sister institutions, the union and their respective caucuses, the alumni caucus, observers caucus, media presence present, all stakeholders and protocols, I welcome you all to this purposeful event and we thank God, we thank you for making the occasion, for making this occasion a purposeful one. Since this is a hosting institution, let me take the opportunity to give a brief history of this institution. Kumasi Technical University was formerly known as Kumasi Technical Institute. It was established in 1954 to offer craft-related courses. In 1963, the institute was converted to a non-tertiary polytechnic status to offer, in addition, technician diploma and sub-professional courses. By the Polytechnic Law in 1992, the school was updated or upgraded to a full tertiary institution to provide high-caliber manpower in the area of manufacturing, commerce, science and technology, in order to act as a catalyst for technological development. The Technical University Act, that's Act 922 in 2016, converted Kumasi Polytechnic to the present-day Kumasi Technical University, with the aim of providing higher education in engineering, applied arts, science and technology, as well as technical and vocational training. The vision of the school is to become the center of excellence for the technological and entrepreneurial development. And I must say, gradually, we are getting there. Now, to the purpose of this gathering, ladies and gentlemen, the purpose of this gathering is to launch the 27th edition of the annual Gnuts Delegates Congress, and it goes by the theme, prioritization of technical and vocational education, a vehicle to accelerate industrialization. This theme happens to be in line with the purpose of the Technical University Act, and as students, products and stakeholders of technical universities, the theme calls for deep introspection to ascertain the bearing on we students and the nation at large. Gnuts, as a mother body, is the official mouthpiece of all the 8 technical universities universities and the 2 polytechnics. Since its inception, the union has played diverse instrumental roles by serving as a conduit to defend the rights of students when and where necessary, and also addressing challenges faced by SRCs of member institutions hitherto. As an annual ritual, Gnuts, by virtue of its mandate, thought it wise to convene this purposeful gathering, and once again, this 27th edition for us to deliberate on pertinent issues that will uplift the image of the union and also technical universities nationwide. Other upcoming events are chronicled as follows: a summit, which will be graced by top-notch speakers, a debate on prominent and pertinent national and educational issues, election of new breed of national executives, and etc. I will admonish all delegates to avail themselves to learn as events unfold, and when the opportunity presents itself. When all is said and done, we will sing a common chorus, thanking the organizers for such an event, and may the good Lord shower his favor and blessing amongst us throughout this event. Once again, I welcome you all to Kumasi Technical University and wish you a fruitful stay. Thank you.
That is the donation. Me, I will travel. And then he hand over the microphone to the head, senior house master. We went to the hall and realized the bucket is there with a full of water. You wait and let him travel and come back, and we'll see what will happen to you. Thank you very much. Yes, good afternoon once again, ladies and gentlemen gathered here present. My name is Frank Repu. It's my pleasure to be the host of this memorable occasion. Let me take this opportunity to introduce the GNU's executives. They are the organizers, the engineers of what we are witnessing today. Mr. Collins Ade is the president of the National GNU. Shall we give it to him? Yes, Igwe, may you leave. Amano Priscilla is the secretary of GNU. Amano Priscilla, where is he? Amano Priscilla. Okay. Sandra Agoni Idris, coordinating secretary officer. Karim.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, His Excellency the former President of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama, honorable members of state, the Pro-VC, the National Executive Committee of Gnuts, Advisory Board, outgoing Central Committee members, incoming Central Committee members, alumni, observers, all protocol observed, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Annual Residential Delegate Congress. Mr. Chairman, I must confess that I am highly elated and keen. It's a great honor to stand before you all. The Chair, the Ghana National Union of Technical Students is a proactive union with aims and objectives which include but no limited to offering a common forum for the discussion of challenges affecting technical and vocational students and generally to develop a spirit of togetherness among students of the technical universities. Mr. Chairman, the union also aims at fostering unity and solidarity among technical and vocational students and stakeholders in its quest to achieve higher goals again. Mr. Chairman, the Ghana National Union of Technical Students also seeks to uphold and defend the rule of law in the country with reference to issues militating against the economy, social, cultural, and the general public in order to secure peace, democracy, and socio-economic development. The Chair, in giving a brief history of this union, the Ghana National Union of Technical Students, Gnuts, was formerly Ghana National Union of Polytechnics, Gnuts. The reason for the change of name was as a result of the Technical Universities Bill Act 922 coming into effect to convert the polytechnics into technical universities in 2016. Mr. Chair, may I crave your indulgence to appreciate and say a big thank you to our predecessors of this union who fought a good fight to bring this union this far. We say Ayiko.
During the introduction of our former Minister of Education, when I met you in the office, I told you something that many people don't know. That once upon a time, I was a student on this campus. An upgradement of our polytechnics into technical. I always say that the party NDC that I chair now is a party that does not talk much, but our work always speaks for itself. So, apart from the traditional three polytechnics that you used to have, K Poly, then T Poly in Takrady, and A Poly in Accra, through President Rollins, President Mills, and President Mahama, we will say that we are credited with the establishment of virtually all the rest of the polytechnics, which were elevated, some from technical institutions into polytechnics. And I was both a deputy minister and regional minister in the Eastern region, and I know how the Koforidua Polytechnic came to be, and now it is one of the technical universities. So you have invited this man as a special guest of honor for this program. I think that the organizers had made a good choice. No doubt. Thank you very much. Honorable Chairperson, Engineer Mike Champon, National Chairman of the National Democratic Congress, Honorable Samuel Kufuor, Regional Chairman of the NDC, Nana Akwesi, Honorable former Minister of Education, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, Honorable Member of Parliament for North Tomo, Samuel Okudete Ablakwa, staff of the Kumasi Technical University, executives of the Ghana National Union of Technical Students, and delegates, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. I wish to begin by thanking you all very much for the kind invitation to be here with you today and for your presence this afternoon. I intend to be brief because, as I know, as technical people, by your training and your orientation, you always go straight to the point. Thank you. Without frills or other extraneous matters. And aside from that, I'm guided by a joke that was told me long ago of somebody who was invited to come and speak. And his speech was very lengthy. He spoke for a very long time. And as he was speaking, people got bored and started trickling out. By the time he finished the speech, there was only one person left, sitting and listening to him. So he got down and went to this person to thank him for staying to listen to him till the end. And this person told him, he said, well,
I'm here because I'm supposed to speak after you. If I was not the next speaker, I would be gone long ago. But I'm particularly happy to speak with you today. First, because your executive reached out to me personally, and this explains why I had to adjust my program to be here with you this afternoon. The second reason is that your theme, prioritization of technical and vocational education, a vehicle to accelerate industrialization, coincides with the thinking that dominated my interventions in technical and vocational educational training during my tenure as president, and still remains in sync with my plans going forward post 2021 January 7th. Let me at this juncture express my sincere appreciation to Professor Nana Jenopokwajiman and her team. That included her two deputies, Sami Okujetua Blackwell and Honorable Alex Treme, for the successes that we chalked during my term in office. Indeed, the credit for midwifing the technical universities is attributed or attributable to Nana Jenopokwajiman and her team at the Ministry of Education. Ghana will forever be grateful to you. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you'll recall that in my first State of the Nation address in 2013, after I had been newly inducted into office, I announced the policy to convert our polytechnics into technical universities. I wish to reiterate that the NDC's idea to turn the polytechnics into technical universities was for very good reason. It was about taking education, especially technical and vocational education, seriously and making it an anchor of development and an instrument for national transformation. I put that pressure on myself and our government for the good of our beloved country, with an overall objective of equipping our youth with the high-level skills needed in preparation for entry into the world of work. Your theme resonates so well since it formed the fulcrum that supported all our actions in the TVET area. The move was to help advance more vigorously a process of repositioning the polytechnics as strategic institutions that train personnel with high-level technical skills in the TVET domain towards the country's economic and national development agenda. But I want to ask, what thoughts led to this idea in the first place? And I'm aware that most of you will be privy to the information I'm about to present. But it has not hurt to repeat them and even clarify the thinking behind the actions we took, if only to refresh the memory of some of us and to share the information with those who might be paying attention to this for the first time. It was a practical step taken towards the following, and the first was one, to diversify our tertiary educational terrain. To diversify our tertiary educational terrain. The second was to raise the quality of technical education in Ghana. The third was creating clear pathways for skills development and growth. And the fourth was putting confidence in our learners who chose the path of technical vocational training. And finally, and even more important, it was meant to bridge the gap between training, employment, and national development. Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, we acted very boldly to remove the glass ceiling that had been imposed on technical education. This ceiling appeared over the years like a deliberate effort to limit the sphere of our young ones who made the decision to take the path of TVET. It imposed a certain stigma and inferiority on them. I believe with all the conviction at my disposal that the pupil from JHS who has aptitude for TVET must have his or her horizon expanded to the highest levels of training possible, just like his or her counterparts who choose other paths of education. This is especially critical at this stage of our national development, when we need more technical human resources to help turn our raw materials into processed goods, to create and maintain machinery, and thereby create jobs and stimulate the economy. The journey from HND to BTech was unnecessary and too long, and unreasonably frustrating. You know this better than I do, what it was like to struggle to gain admission into the few higher educational institutions which offered the HND holders the opportunity for a top-up to upgrade their qualifications into a degree. The process of conversion of our polytechnics into technical universities was well thought out and very well planned. We did not simply announce a wholesale conversion ahead of the parliamentary discussion and approval that took place. We set up a panel of experts, that was the first step, to meticulously study the landscape, perform a human and equipment as well as infrastructural audit of the existing polytechnics to guide the conversation and the final decisions that were taken. The panel studied best practices in many countries and decided that since everybody was emulating the German model, to study the original that others seem to be replicating based on their peculiar circumstances and the vision of their countries, we could take a leaf from that. This process was carefully conceived and meticulously thought through, and it was an intervention that connected the links and created a clear pathway from the JHS through technical institutes to eventually technical universities. As a nation, my administration was firmly of the belief that we should make an honest appraisal of TVET by avoiding the wrong perception that it was the refuge of those who could not meet higher academic standards. This was a discriminatory, self-defeating, exclusionist notion that had existed for many decades and was an effective way of leaving many behind and excluding them. TVET is a legitimate and important area the nation should be interested in advancing if we wish to make any difference to the basic foundation of our economy. We had carried out an audit of existing technical schools to aid in plugging the identified loopholes in the pool from which technical universities were now going to source their students. And this report led to the selection of 13 technical institutes for massive quality improvement. Under my administration, we invested $60.3 million to commence the expansion of TVET institutions by constructing modern school infrastructure in these 13 technical and vocational institutes. An initial survey revealed sustained neglect of this important aspect of education. The facilities recommended for construction included workshops, dormitories, staff accommodation, administration block, lecture theatres, etc. The larger aim included an equipment audit to be able to retool and fix appropriate tools for study in this critical area of education. And I'll mention the beneficiary schools. These were the Adam Technical Institute. And I had the privilege of personally cutting the sword at Adam Technical Institute for the work in all the 13 technical institutes to commence. The next one was the Akwetia Technical Institute in Eastern Region. Then the Amankwa Chrome Technical Institute, the Aswansi Technical Institute, the Bolga Technical Institute, the Kwando Technical Institute, Nkranza Technical Institute, the Dabokwa Technical Institute. For those of you who don't know, Dabokwa is in Tamale. The Wa Technical Institute, the Krobian Asante Technical Institute, here in Ashanti region. The Takrady Polytechnic was included, and the Accra Polytechnic was also a beneficiary. Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, we did not focus only on infrastructure and equipment, but also on developing the human resource in order that we could improve the quality of teaching and learning in these institutes. We sponsored the training of 148 instructors at the diploma level, 20 instructors at the master's level, and 5 faculty members at the PhD level in order to enhance the quality of teaching and learning in these TVET institutions. It is imperative that the instructors themselves have the highest levels of training in their respective field as was required in any institution. We did not think that it was enough to complain and even admit that as a nation we do not have enough technical expertise to transform our natural resources into wealth for our people. It is still not enough to convince ourselves that we are rich in natural resources when we continue to experience unforgivable levels of poverty and deprivation. Importing technical know-how had become so acceptable that we had all but assumed that it was the normal thing to do. My government had faith in the ability of our youth to acquire the relevant skills given the right conditions. As part of supporting brilliant but needy students, we awarded scholarship to 1,520 students, including 333 females in polytechnics and technical institutes. It was part of the plan to promote access and at the same time increase the visibility of females in TVET beyond those areas usually dominated by females. It was my government that enacted the Technical Education Act of 2016, Act 992, through Parliament to pave the way for the conversion of the first 6 polytechnics in September 2016, of which your university, the Kumasi Technical University, was one of them. And as I said, this process was midwifed by the lady sitting here and her deputies and her team at the Ministry of Education. The Ministry of Education received after that date the report of the Experts Review Panel on the reassessment of KAMPUS and Tamale Polytechnics to be considered for conversion. If you remember, in the initial report that was presented, Tamale and KAMPUS did not qualify. And so only 6 were going to be converted and the rest were going to be strengthened and converted later. But after the review panel did a reassessment, KAMPUS and Tamale were included, bringing to 8 the number of polytechnics that were converted. It is only 2, Wa and Bolga polytechnics, that were not converted at the time. But we have put in place a program to accelerate both infrastructure, human resource, and equipment base of these polytechnics so that we could convert them in the shortest possible time. And that is what I expect that the current government must be doing so that WAC and BOGA can join their colleagues as full-fledged technical universities. Mr. Chairman, the process of assisting the remaining polytechnics through retraining of staff, retooling of laboratories, renovation of existing infrastructure, deepening governance structures, and the running of accredited Bachelor of Technology programs to merit their conversion to technical universities. This process we will continue when we return to office after we have won the Of course, you are already aware of the construction projects we began on your campuses. And this included hostels, library complexes, workshops, lecture theaters, offices, ultramodern hotel, catering and management blocks, installation of equipment and learning systems, the refurbishments we initiated or completed, amongst many, to ensure our desire to transform our country was not a slogan.
Thank you for dropping the chamber.
You are also aware of what progress, if any, has been made since my team and I left office. We maintain our faith in such developments to give hope to our youth and demonstrate true meaning to the importance of TVET as the vehicle to accelerate industrialization. What I've been trying to demonstrate is that the plan was strategically conceived. It was well thought through. It was not an ad hoc measure, picking loose ends of a non-existing overall strategy and weaving in colored threads that don't fit into the pattern because there's none. We had a master plan, a blueprint that we followed to ensure that my administration prioritized technical and vocational education as an effective vehicle to accelerate the industrialization of our beloved country, Ghana. It is my intention in the future government that I will head to rebrand TVET into an alternative of first choice rather than the wretched path that students are compelled. It is my intention in the future government that I head to rebrand TVET into an alternative of first choice rather than the wretched path that students are compelled to take when all other doors are closed to them. I'm committed to the improvement of our educational system to serve as a catalyst for the acceleration of our economy. And this must cover quality, affordability, and access at all levels of the educational ladder. Basic education is particularly critical as it forms the foundation for solid human resource development. We will therefore continue our work to improve the performance of public schools at both the basic and secondary levels. We will resume our program to fast-track educational infrastructure at the secondary level to absorb the increased numbers occasioned by the implementation of the free SHS program. We will complete all the remaining 200 community day senior high schools. We will build additional ones in high-density urban communities, including the Zongos and the underserved areas. Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that this will bring secondary education to the doorsteps of our people. In the first 3 months of my coming into office, we will hold a stakeholder consultation with parents, teachers, and educational experts to identify and eliminate all the bottlenecks that are affecting the effective implementation of the free SHS. Wow! Ladies and gentlemen, free SHS is here to stay. Indeed, it is underpinned and guaranteed by the 1992 Constitution of Ghana. And it cannot be reversed by any government. Mr. Chairman, but all administrations, including this one and any future one, have an obligation to make it a qualitative and enjoyable experience for our children. And I'm determined to make secondary education a beneficial learning experience more than the current miserable conditions our children have to face. More than the current miserable conditions our children are having to face under the Nana Akufo-Addo administration. Mr. Chairman, at a later date, before the election of 2020, I intend to lay out in detail before all stakeholders and the good people of Ghana our blueprints for the educational sector, and especially our plan for making the free SHS program more sustainable. We intend to continue to clear the pathway so that the path towards technical and vocational education training from the basic level through the secondary level to the tertiary level will be an alternative of first choice and not an alternative of rejected students. Indeed, I dare say that we need our best, brightest and best to take the path of technical education if we are to transform this country. And so let me once again thank your executive and thank the organizers for your kind invitation to be with you. And I wish to assure you that I will always be an advocate and an ambassador for technical universities and technical education. On this note, it is my honor and privilege to officially declare the Delegates Congress of the Ghana National
citation of